It is now 6:28, and we will reconvene our normal meeting. At this point in the agenda, we will take on action item 1, and according to board policy 1E 1.03, it requires that the board elects its officers by a majority vote at its first regular meeting following the regular election of trustees in even-numbered years. The board may elect officers at any time to fill a vacancy. The board may also reorganize officers at other times at its discretion. The board elects a board chair, board vice chair, board secretary, assistant board secretary, and other officers at its discretion. The nominating committee of Dave Holsey, Art Murillo, and Miriam Saldivar will recommend a slate of officers for the following offices: chair, vice chair, secretary, and assistant secretary. And Miriam Saldivar has been appointed to be the spokesperson for that committee. Miriam.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank
you guys
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. So for chair would be Trustee Alton Smith. Vice chair, Trustee Miriam Saldivar. Secretary, Trustee Art Murillo. And Assistant Secretary, Trustee Linda Good.
Okay, you've heard the nominations from the committee. Are there any other nominations?
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So if we wanted to nominate someone else for another position, now is the time to do that, right? You'd have to forgive my lack of order.
Correct.
Okay. Because could you entertain a nomination? This is policy. We have to do this now. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's been a policy for.
So for the new members of the board who've not been able to get to know the rest of the members of the board, to make a democratic decision, because in elections, you need to know who you're voting for. My wife she's from Russia, and I've been in the Kremlin, by the way. And
okay.
The way they do elections over there is that the ruling party puts up a slate of candidates and they vote for them.
Yeah.
And that's your right as a citizen. You can vote yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
But here, I think there's a little bit more in a democratic process. So you got a third of the board sitting here. It's their first time.
Yes, sir.
I've met some of you. Tonight's the first time meeting, probably three of you, I think. And have not had a chance to get to know folks. So that's the, how should I say, issue that I have with this process.
Okay.
If this is the process, and we have to go through it, I guess we're going to go through it. But I can't support it. And we need to look at this process for change. So I just want to go on record. It has nothing to do with anyone personally. Absolutely not. I'm on board with everybody.
Well, no, I understand. That's a good question.
That's right.
But what I'm going to say, though, that because of the policies that we have in place, we have to follow, that particular policy.
I agree.
But policies are evergreen, and they need to be changed whenever there's a need to be changed.
Can we put that on a future agenda item to look at that?
Well, we'll take care of that some kind of way.
The board policy does allow a reorganization at other times. This is when they have to reorganize, but the policy does allow reorganization.
And that would be done by motion, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
would have to be an agenda item.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, okay. Any other comments?
I was going to say the same thing that he was saying, because I am a new board member. I do not know most of the board members. First time was meeting them today, and I agree that we should get a chance to at least, know the board members, and, nothing against anybody, but I'm like you, it's more democratic that if you know somebody, I'd like to just be able to talk to them, because we are not Russia, you know what I'm saying? I want to know, there might be other nominations,
Yeah.
so what you're saying is there is no way that we can move to continue this in February after we've gotten to at least talk to some of the board members, the new members here. I can speak for myself as a new board member. I don't really know anybody sitting at this table. I know Alton because, he was on the school board, and that's all. I know Ken, said went to college together. I don't know, I don't remember him, but I'm just saying, can a motion be made to delay the voting until the next meeting? Just continue with it. Nothing against anybody, just give us an opportunity to know who we're voting for. Because I don't do anybody.
Well,
They can abstain.
Yeah, if you don't, well, what's happened in the times, this is the third one that I've been through. What has happened before, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen now. The last one I remember, I guess, is Miriam.
I abstained from
She
voting.
abstained because she didn't know, the individual, and she relied upon the expertise of the incumbent board members, to make that decision. And it happened, I guess, the time that I came on the board too.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, I guess the general counsel should be able to answer this.
Well-
Is it legal or legitimate at this time to move that we postpone the continuance of this till the next meeting to give the new board members an opportunity to know who's on the slate and to at least be able to, to even just, shake their hands, say, how you doing it? Something of that nature. Is that legal? Is that legitimate at this time? Can a motion be made? On the record.
I think that in the best interest of making sure that it doesn't look like the administration is trying to influence board reorganization, I would refer to my colleagues
Okay.
Thank you.
What I would say is we have a board policy now that says that the board shall reorganize at the first meeting after the election. I think the provision that allows the board at its discretion to reorganize at any other time is probably the better way to go, is for you to reorganize now, and if the board wants to reorganize again at a later time, since the board policy allows you to do so, that I think that that's a better approach.
And again, the process for making that request is what?
It would be on a board agenda. We would have to have an agenda item and place it on the board agenda, just like we did
Make that request
now.
through the chancellor's office, I would assume, to put that on the board agenda. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yes.
very last
That's it.
item for tonight is actually a call for
Agenda items, correct. Yeah, and we do that every meeting. We request.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. With respect to the discussion about new board members, I'm not part of that thinking, if you will, and frankly, I'm ready to make a motion, if you'll accept it.
You're making a motion to accept the
Yes.
nomination committee's report?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that the nominating committee's report be accepted. All those in favor, vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. So how many noes?
So how do you know? What's yes and no?
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
what's the usual sign?
So it's
I don't
two.
know what the usual sign is.
Okay, no, okay. How many?
Well, let's do a show of hands. Is that
Okay.
too
All
unreasonable?
right, well, let's do an actual vote. Okay. Start with you.
I vote no, sir.
Okay.
Yes, in favor.
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, yes.
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 No.
Okay. 6 yes, 3 noes. Motion passed. Smith is the chairman, Saldivar, vice chair, Art Murillo, secretary, Linda Good, assistant secretary. Okay. Thank you. Dr. Head, do we have any introductions or special guests or recognitions tonight?
Yes. Do you want to introduce are you introducing the academy right now? Oh, from Commissioner Cagle. Sorry. We have a special award from Commissioner Cagle's office tonight, so.
Sir, I want to thank y'all for having us out tonight. On behalf of the commissioner and myself especially, and I don't know if y'all are aware of what we have been doing with you guys, but at the University Park, we have partnered up with you guys to what we are calling Faces of Harris County. We are working with, which I have behind here, Spring ISD, Tomball ISD, Klein ISD, and Humble ISD. And this year we have just now partnered with the rest of the ISDs in our area. And what we are doing is we are bringing them to your college campus, and you guys are helping host where we actually get in front of the kids and we interview Harris County employees and our counterparts in front of them to get them college ready on what they might want to do with their lives. And it's been a really good event. We have teamed up. These are CT directors behind me. They have been all for it, and they've pushed forward, and they love the Lone Star College system. So the commissioner is sending me out tonight, especially for Dr. Arline, which we give a lot of thanks to him. We've got this for the University Center here. I'm going to read it now. Harris County Precinct 4 and the Honorable R. Jack Cagle hereby recognizes the Lone Star College University Center and part for the partnership in making our Faces of Harris County program a tremendous success. As Precinct 4 Commissioner of Harris County, Texas, and on behalf of the citizens of Harris County and all the ISDs, thank you for the generosity giving us all your time and resources to help make the Faces of Harris County, the event, so successful. Being able to showcase the function of our local government and educate our young adults on potential new career paths is invaluable. Your leadership, dedication, and partnership has helped us grow this worthwhile program from a single event to multiple opportunities throughout the year, allowing for great participation by both students and government offices alike. R. Jack Cagle, I want to thank you guys.
Thank you. So Landon, what is your role with the, and Commissioner Cagle, by the way, is a really good friend of the college. So what is your role there?
I'm the Assistant Director of Community Outreach. So when I'm not getting to do these great things with your education, we're actually going to be doing one for you guys here pretty soon for your students. I'm the guy you call if you got a problem. So I do all the research for you on any level, from road and bridge to parks. And the commissioner also always wants us in my department to be open to you guys. If you don't know where the problem is, we do the research and we get you to a person instead of a machine.
If you'll leave your telephone number with that lady right on the corner back there.
I can do that.
No, the commissioner's office has been great to work with. Really great to work with. So, and
We-
Sean, thank you very much.
Y'all are a tremendous asset for us, believe me.
Thank you.
Congratulations out there, Alderman. Congratulations.
So, Helen, while she's working her way up here, for board members, for the rest of you, all this is new up here. So, for the board members, if you could move your speakers up about when you're talking. And John, I need to make sure about that far. 6 inches, okay. And if you want to, you can't bend the whole thing like we used to. You have to do it this way. And if you don't want anybody to hear what you're saying, turn the button off right there. Your turn.
Chair Smith, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor, it is my great pleasure tonight to introduce the Academy cohort for 2019. The Academy is our longest-running professional development program. It is designed to teach our mid-level administrators, faculty, and staff to lead from where they are. And its great purpose is to keep our good employees with us. It's been running since 2006 as a testament to the quality of the program and the quality of the people who've been through it. There are several people in this room, and I'm sure I don't have everyone's name, who have been through this program. One is our own Karen Lovejoy in the Chancellor's office, and Associate Vice Chancellor Tammy Cortez and Associate Vice Chancellor Butch Jewell also went through this program. So those of you who've worked with these folks know the quality of people and that it's great to be able to grow people from within and keep them here. Academy is a year-long program, one of several year-long programs that we have. And first we're going to introduce you to the graduating class pod winners, top pod project. Each of the 6 pods this year did a year-long program with a system-wide group membership. And this one, I think, Ken, you can get behind. It's the LSC Emerging Engineers Network. We all know that we need to get more underrepresented groups in STEM programs. And so the pod group, Gabby Andrade, Dr. Norjuan Austin, Kathy Nistetter, Dina Stutz, and Dr. Jennifer Travis took on this challenge. And they have designed a pilot program at North Harris that with mentorships, presentations, help to get them into their four-year college after us. They have 43 students in the program right now, and I think it is just a tribute to the kind of people we have and the kind of thinking they do to align our cultural beliefs and our priorities with what our students need to succeed. And Gabby, Norjuan, Kathy, and Dina are here tonight. Jennifer is teaching, so I'd like to ask them to come forward. And we will be taking a picture with you all shortly. And this is to let the 2019 Academy Fellows know that they have some big shoes to follow in. I'm really pleased to introduce the 2019 Academy Fellows to you tonight. From Cy-Fair, Venus Ravenmeyer. From Tomball, Amy Cook, Kentry Ledee, and Natalie Starks. From System Office The Woodlands, Jennifer Mendez. From System Office University Park, April Odell. From LSC University Park, Dara Peterson, Betty Rue, Sunil Tonger, and Ing Yi. And from LSC North Harris, Jane Monksgaard, Chris Trevino, and Deborah Vick. You all can come forward now, and we will take your picture with the Chancellor and the trustees.
Oh, I'm sorry. Come on down. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Marion's not here.
She has her mother. She, fine group of people.
Mm-hmm. All right. Want to say one more?
Yeah, one more.
Congratulations.
Helen, from your desk, could you tell the new board members the new programs that we have? It's either that or just come up here, either one. This is one of several leadership programs we have, by the way, so internally.
I'll come up only because we're live streaming this, and if I'm talking from the side of the room, it won't be picked up. The Academy is our longest learning program. We also have LSC Lead for our more senior faculty and administrators. Again, a year-long program. We have LSC Leap for our support staff, and we also have Next Generation Leadership, which is for our most senior leaders to give them the skills they need to move into vice chancellor positions, president positions, vice president positions.
You know you've got somebody behind you, right? Okay.
Okay. And this is Katie Helbert, who runs virtually all those programs for us. She runs the Academy, and Dr. Alicia Friday, who is the Executive Director of Professional Organizational Development, is also here with us tonight in the back of the room. But it's a small team, a small and mighty team. They do a terrific job putting these programs together. Except for Next Generation Leadership, which is run by Civitas in conjunction with us, all of these are done in-house. We have a very small staff. They work really hard, plus doing all the system-wide organizational development for the college.
So for the new board members, we have a lot of really talented, hardworking people here. So we're trying to give them the opportunity to be recognized and appreciate what they do and expose them to kind of the next level, for lack of other words. Is that, you can, go ahead, you can talk.
So thank you to the board and Chancellor Head. So we have a leadership brand here at Lone Star College, and we believe that our leaders should be empowering others, should be building meaningful relationships. And so we bring our groups together to talk about our structures that we have internally as well as externally. We also visit the state and discover how the legislature influences and impacts the work that we do here. So we try to take a holistic view of what leadership looks like here at Lone Star College.
Great. They do a great job. I'm very pleased with what we're doing. So, thank you. Not into that category. So we don't have a workshop. She's ill tonight. No.
Board members, at this point, we need to consider the minutes of our November 1st, 2018 workshop and regular meetings of the Board of Trustees. And the minutes of also the minutes of the November 16, 2018 special meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please. Second. It's been moved and properly second that we adopt the minutes of the November 1st workshop and regular meeting and the minutes of the November 16, 2018 special meeting. Any questions on readiness? All those in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay. You have the chancellor's report. You have the chancellor's report.
Yeah,
The chancellor's report.
Just a quick update. Our enrollments right now, we're down about 2%. So Kingwood, we'll have a grand reopening of Kingwood in February the 15th. You'll receive a notice over that. And based on what Catherine told me today, that if we added some of the dual credit students, we would be about even, I think, if I looked at the numbers correctly. So we're keeping a close tabs on that. And for new board members, we still are recovering from the hurricane. That's really hit us hard. And I think the economy has something to do with that, but we'll see. So right now, I think, based on what you said, I think we're about even. And a couple of updates. Met with the Lieutenant Governor earlier this week. I think the state appropriations for community colleges are looking pretty good. So what we're asking for is $144 million in money for the biennium. We get about 10% of that. The Lieutenant Governors and some of the legislators are very interested in increasing the, right now 10% of our allocation is performance funding, which we're in favor of. We helped develop that program. So he's interested in maybe increasing that up to 12%. So, which would be good for us, I think, and we have an internal performance metric distribution policy where we give money to the colleges based on that. So we would like that if that's what they do, and I think they're going to be heading in that direction. I'm going to send the board an update and Chancellor's Cabinet an update on what's going on in Washington, but not a lot. There's some now with the Democrats taking over the House, some of the splits that we've seen are going to be more exacerbated. And so you've got Democrats and Republicans and the White House and the Department of Education that are trying to get together to work on policies. The issue that we have is primarily on financial aid and how the FAFSA might look. And also the federal government has been talking about having more oversight on accreditation instead of the SACs that we go through right now. And we're taking a look at Title IX, and we'll have an update from Mario probably in the next meeting about how that would impact us. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape there. And the last thing I wanted to do was, we've had a couple of people receiving awards, but I read the Houston Chronicle every morning online, and on the front page was Alicia Harvey Smith's picture from, it was on the front page. It was the award ceremony that we had for Stephen F. Austin, so congratulations. That was very good.
Dr. Kesval, are you doing the President's report? Yes. Thank you. Come on up.
So for those of you coming up, the podium actually adjusts, right? So if it's, you got it? Okay. For the new board members, this is why I don't really have to worry too much about the presidents. They know what to do. There you go.
It's fancy.
Well, good evening, Chancellor, Chairman Smith, members of the board. On behalf of the presidents, I'm pleased to present to you our December board report. Fundamentally, as a comprehensive community college, we meet students where they are and we help them get to where they are trying to go. And as you will see in this presentation, our Lone Star College alumni have both many and varied degrees of success because success looks differently for everyone. In the next few minutes, I will share with you success stories from just a small sampling of Lone Star College alumni from across the system. In preparing for this presentation, several themes emerged when reviewing what our alumni had to say about their experience here at Lone Star College and what made the difference for them. To start, and no surprise, one major theme that emerged was the people, our employees, who made the difference for these students. This is Mark Hunter. Mark received an inspection technology certificate from Lone Star College earlier this year. He says, "Thanks to the outstanding staff at Lone Star College, I have an opportunity to create a brand new start in a new career field. I am proof that you are never too old to start over. I'm 52 years young, blessed, and going for it." Mark is currently working as a fluorescent penetrant inspector at Pratt & Whitney in Houston. This is Ashley Bylot. Ashley received an Associate of Arts degree in 2018, and she says, "I view so many faculty at Lone Star College as mentors and role models. I hope to obtain my master's degree one day and become a professor at a community college. I would love to have the chance to impact others the way that I have been impacted." Ashley is currently pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in English with a minor in film at Texas A&M University. And this is Corey Cattell. Corey earned an Associate of Arts degree in 2013, and he says, "I met an amazing professor while at Lone Star College, and she helped foster my interest in politics into a love of political science and law." Corey earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science from the University of Houston, a Juris Doctorate degree from Duke University School of Law, and he is currently working as a law clerk for the United States Senate.
That's impressive.
The second theme that emerged when reviewing what our alumni had to say about their experience here at Lone Star College and what made the difference for them is their mention of being engaged and involved. This is Violet Dong. Violet received an Associate of Arts degree in 2011, and she says, "The Lone Star College Student Ambassador Program was one of the most impactful experiences that really made me who I am today." Violet received a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from Texas Christian University, a Master's of Arts degree from Columbia University, and she is currently working as a data scientist at McKinsey & Company in New York City. This is Ray Laurencio. Ray received an Associate of Arts degree in 2016, and he says, "Participation in student organizations taught me about professionalism, civic engagement, public speaking, and critical thinking. They made me a better person and helped me see a world perspective." Ray received a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Texas at Austin, and he is currently a graduate student at Texas Southern University, Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Ray's career goal is to become an immigration attorney. And this is Amber Morrison. Amber earned an Associate of Arts degree in 2010, and she says, "My involvement in programs such as Phi Theta Kappa, Student Ambassadors, and Honors College really opened doors for me." Amber earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science from the University of St. Thomas and a Juris Doctorate from Baylor Law School. She is currently working as a Senior Land Technician at Laredo Energy. And finally, the third theme that emerged when reviewing what our alumni had to say about their experience here at Lone Star College was their mention of their own perseverance and hard work that made the difference. This is Rita Newberg. Rita earned a GED credential in 2017. She says, My journey started when I was working toward my GED. And after I received a scholarship, I was even more motivated to continue with my education. Rita is currently pursuing an Associate of Applied Science degree at Lone Star College to become a mechatronics technician. This is Brendan Markhart. Brendan received an Associate of Arts degree in 2006, and he says, I've done incredibly well for myself based on the foundation I've received from Lone Star College, and anyone who is willing to work diligently can absolutely do the same. Brendan earned a Bachelor of Science degree in economics from Rice University, and he is currently working as a business development manager and financial modeler for Kinder Morgan in Houston. And finally, this is Crystal Lovelady. Crystal earned an Associate of Arts degree in 2010, and she says, it is never too late to start over and move forward. I have had numerous setbacks, but I've resolved to live my life as a testament to perseverance. Crystal earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology from Columbia University, and she is currently pursuing a Master's of Science degree in Information and Communications Technology from the University of Denver. But the stories are endless. Holly, Sonia, Molly, Daniel, Benji, Brian, just to name a few. The list goes on and on. And Estefania, who is studying at Cornell University, sums it up best. She says, it sounds cliche, but it's true. You can start here and go anywhere. And many of our own employees are also alumni and are enjoying great successes in their careers here at Lone Star College. So Estefania is indeed correct. At Lone Star College, you truly can start close and go far. And before I actually close, because I say the stories are endless, I would venture to guess that we also have some Lone Star College alumni right here in this very room, right now. So if that's the case, would you just please stand and be recognized? Let's give them, which you are, and all of our Lone Star College and alumni a round of applause in their celebration and our celebration of them for their many and their varied degrees of success. We'll give them one more round. Thank you.
Great report, good report. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So for the new board members, again, we give about $800,000 a year to employees to work on, well, they can take college courses, our courses for, well, nothing's for free. We cover it with auxiliary. Then we give, they apply for scholarships for bachelor's degree and master's degree and PhD. So again, we've got a lot of talented people here. We have 7,700 employees. So we want them to be happy, we want them to take courses, and we want them to come to work for us. So.
Thank you. Dave, are you ready? Come on up.
Now, Dave, this is a test. I talked to Dave before and told him that thing moved. So if Silpa can figure it out. You got it? Okay. Just so you'll know, I couldn't figure it out today. I was like pushing every button in the world. So.
I was just going to make it go up and down the whole time I was speaking. But.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chancellor Head, Chairman Smith, and board members. I am here today because it is important for us to examine and look at our programs that support inclusion, diversity, and equity. And one of those programs that we have is the Safe Zone program. And it's important for us to talk about this because it focuses specifically on our LGBTQ plus students. Lone Star College University Park just recently rolled this program out on its campus, and people didn't sign up because they thought that it was active shooter training. So it's time for us to re-examine this program and understand why it is important for us to continue to educate ourselves about our students. Lone Star College has a long history of support for our LGBTQ plus family. And from the beginning, Lone Star has demonstrated our commitment to students, faculty, and staff to be an institution of inclusion and support. Lone Star College continues to be a leader in its support for LGBTQ students and through student clubs and organizations, our counseling programs, and our Safe Zone program. So what is Safe Zone? It's a training program for faculty, staff, administration, and students designed to provide support and acceptance for students who identify themselves as LGBTQ or plus. Why is there a plus? I will get to that in a moment. People always have questions about that. It's been used by student organizations as well, and it is an important part of our quest for diversity and inclusion. Maybe we better start with, what is LGBTQ? Well, it is an acronym which is designed to be an umbrella for several diverse issues, such as diverse sexualities and genders. People always ask what the Q stands for, and it may stand for queer. It depends on who you ask, but ultimately it's designed to get rid of the binary notion that there are only one or two genders, or that there are only a couple of ways of being. And so the plus is added in order to be inclusive. This is important because our students often feel intimidated, overwhelmed, confused, uninterested in their classes, and disengaged if they are dealing with issues that relate directly to how they feel about their identity or their gender. And by building connections, we can help them feel respected, reassured, encouraged, valued and not alone, and excited about their classes. And one way in which we do that is through our Safe Zone program. People who are trained to be part of the Safe Zone program provide a sticker on the outside of their office door, which is readily recognizable to our students and lets them know that it is a safe zone where they can talk about those specific issues with the person inside that office. This became very apparent to me, and that it was very important, because I've been doing Safe Zone training for over 18 years, long before I came to Lone Star College. And when I renewed this past year, the original list from which students can identify was 3 pages long, and now it is 10. So this is a continual process of educating ourselves so that we know best how to reach out and support our students. I can provide that list to you if any of you would like to look at it. I learned so many things. All right. These are the new national statistics that relate to students who identify in one of these categories. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in youth aged 10 to 24, which is part of our age group, but LGBTQ plus youth are 3 times more likely to contemplate or commit suicide. 40% of our transgender adults indicate that while they were young teens in our age bracket, they had contemplated or attempted suicide. If a student feels non-supported, their likelihood of suicide increases by 8.4%, and people are 5 times more likely to require medical treatment if they are LGBTQ and they attempt to take their life. The statistics from this past year also indicate that LGBTQ youth indicated that 10% were threatened with a weapon on school properties, that 34% were bullied face-to-face, 38% electronically bullied, and 18 to 23% have experienced sexual or physical violence while on a date. So this is very important for us and for our students, that we are aware that these issues happen and that they feel that they have a place where they can come and express their needs. This was the most startling statistic to me because it's a brand new one, and that Latino millennials are least likely to identify as heterosexual, the survey finds. 1 in 5 will label themselves as LGBTQ plus in our current society. For us, we have 89,150 students enrolled. The typical statistics say that 10% of a population will identify in this group. For us, 7,600 students out of our 40% of enrollment will identify potentially as LGBTQ+. So that's a large population for us, and I think we need to make sure that we are providing them what they need. Lone Star UP has started this. We will be adding a syllabus statement that lets students know that their faculty member is a member of the safe zone and that they are safe to talk to that faculty member or are safe to express their concerns in their class or to that professor. Now, there's another issue that comes up, and that is a student's use of a pronoun. If a student identifies as an alternate gender from the two mainstream that we consider, they may not want to be called he, she, or whatever pronoun we typically would use for them. But Lone Star has done a great thing. Pronouns, the best way to deal with it is to ask students how they want to be referred. And Lone Star has allowed that to happen in the system. A student can go into the system and put a preferred name in. This is important as evidenced by what happened in my class 3 semesters ago. A student came in and was presenting as female, and on my roster, the student's name was Alexander. And so that was hard for the other students in the class to deal with. It was not something they had ever had to deal with before, but had that name been changed on the roster, we could have stopped at the point where I called out Alexander, and this person had to identify that they were Alexander, but preferred to be referred some other way. So not only is the education for us, it's for our students. So what do I leave you with today? Please think about getting the training to become safe zone trained. Please support our students. Please help us to provide a place of safety for students who may have nowhere else to feel safe in this world, because we will always be better together.
Mr. Chair, may I make just a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
I fully support you. The company that I serve and work with has an active safe zone program where they encourage employees to take that program. And they give you the little sticker,
yes,
safe zone, which you can place at your desk where you work so anyone can come. And it's very successful. And I want to say I support this. This needs to be propagated throughout the system and encouraged. So I just want to say I commend you. It's a work of God, quite honestly, in my opinion. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
I do want to point out that every campus in the system does have a safe zone program. I'm just advocating that we beef them up a little.
We can help you.
Because things change so often. I was very shocked at how much had changed in the past 4 years.
Before you leave, can you, so Dave is the Faculty Senate President at University Park. And so for the new board members, we rotate, we take turns, or they take turns. Can you introduce your colleagues that are out here in the audience, your Faculty Senate?
My Faculty Senate
colleagues,
Faculty Senate presidents.
Yes.
This is Jano.
She's
Houston.
Montgomery.
Roger Chambers. I got it right. He's from Kingwood. I have Rebecca Wright. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're doing good. Go ahead.
Royer. So I'm from Cyfair. Davithia. Guillory is from North Harris, and Donna Willingham is from Tomball.
Great. Thank you.
Very good job, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board members, you now have the opportunity to discuss any meetings conferences, campus visits, community involvement that you've had over the last month? Any activity that you think worthy of sharing with the group or activities?
I got to attend a play at Kingwood,
Oh, good.
and it was really funny. The entire works of Shakespeare.
Wow. Good.
Very good.
Anyone else? Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
I would like to say that I had a chance to attend the Brother for Brother induction ceremony at Victory Lone Star College. Now, I go way back with Brother for Brother, believe it or not, all the way back to their inception in 2009, I think, when my son was involved with them, and Sheldon Moss and all that group, and they got on the road and got that notoriety, believe, at Hall High School. So it was like a 360-degree circle for me to come back and see these young men. It was just awesome. And they were all, most of them were coming out of early college, Victory Early College. But it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Any of you guys can? Dave? Okay. I had just a couple I want to mention, and I can't remember what we call it now, but it's at North Harris. I think they call it the Human Library. Yeah, yeah. I did that last month for the third consecutive time, and the students, for some reason, appear to be interested in my background, and so they want to hear the stuff over and over and over and over again. So I say the same thing every year. So that was saying they keep on inviting me back too, so it must be good. And I also had an opportunity to attend Brothers for Brothers a couple of nights ago, and again, I was enthused at how that particular group, has grown. Like was indicated earlier, the majority of the folks participating in it were high school students in early college, and it was a very diverse group, and those guys are making a difference. So it's a job, I'm going to tell North Harrison Victory, a job well done, and I think it's a program that probably should be replicated at other places. But
Benny Lambert's not here tonight, but he is the person that created that program. He works over at, he's the VP, Vice President of Student Services over at Cy-Fair now, but he was at North Harris when I was the president there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a really good program. Good.
Yeah. The program it started off being African Americans, now it's very, very diverse, and that's the way things should be, for our students. Okay, if no one else, I'm sorry, Ken.
I attended the Lone Star North Foundry United Methodist with, I really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you the story.
Talking to the mic.
I pulled up to the, in the parking lot, and they had this sign that says senior citizens. And I pulled my truck up, and the sign boomed. So there was another couple that was parked further back. They got out of their truck, and they said, I was looking at them to say, why aren't you all parking here where I am? And they were looking at me and said, why are you parking where you are? But they actually worked for Lone Star, and I appreciate Quentin for going out and explaining to him that I had knocked that sign over as senior citizens. But they were real. I really enjoyed it, and I was really proud of the fact that the couple, I finally got a chance to talk to him and find out that he was actually worked for Lone Star. And I said, why didn't you park in the senior spot? And he said, oh, no, I felt like walking. So.
Okay. All right, thank you. Helen, do we have any citizens wishing to? Okay.
There's a button to lower it.
Can we restart the time, please? Hello, my name is Earl Brewer. I'm a taxpayer and a proud member of the American Federation of Teachers. I'm retiring December 31st, 2018, but I'm leaving Lone Star College a broken man. I have been Charlie Brown, always expecting Lucy to let me kick the football, but instead disappointed by false promise and trickery. 16 years ago, I asked God to lead me to a job I would love. He led me to Lone Star College. I was hired from a part-time position to a full-time position in August of 2002 by Martha Newsom, the Dean and Executive Director of Fairbanks Center. She led employees who worked with her by example. I use the phrase with her instead of under her intentionally. The culture she intentionally cultivated was one of invitation, collaboration, respect, and trust. We also cared. We cared about outcomes because our input was invited. We felt listened to, and therefore we felt like we had a stake in the success of the enterprise. The enterprise of creating an educational institution that would fulfill the needs of students. Fairbanks Center started well, but through leadership changes and periods without leadership, that initial culture no longer exists. LSC 2020 has had minimal effect, and its promise is unfulfilled. If executive and managerial staff only care about pleasing the ones they are afraid can fire them, and neglect the culture mentioned previously, then a culture of fear prevails. Without caring, thanks for all you do becomes an empty phrase, joked about by those employees who hear it. 5 years ago, Lone Star College embarked on a noble enterprise to evaluate job positions, titles, and job descriptions. Employees were asked to write down what they actually did, and that discrepancies would be reconciled by the appropriate changes to titles, descriptions, and activities. This did not happen for many employees. Instead, we were left with a sense of demoralization, the effect of a disappointed hope. Our morale was worse off than before. Then again, in 2016, a new initiative was promised by the current chancellor, which only wrapped up this year. In my case and many other cases, it is a further disappointment. In my case, it is clear there was no attempt to reconcile what I actually do with my job description, because the new job description does not remotely describe what I did until October 1st. In 2013, many of us filled out the job assessment tool provided by Evergreen Consulting. We were given the blanket statement afterwards that if we don't see a change, then one would not be coming. I actually requested a reevaluation of my job position, but it was denied. I won't go into detail here, but suffice it to say that my actual activities range from cleaning up the vomit of 6 students, monitoring the irrigation system, monitoring and repairing HVAC terminals and rooftop units, working with 480-volt electricity, to representing Lone Star College at vendor construction planning meetings. On more than one occasion, I was introduced to vendors by system office personnel as the manager of Fairbanks Center, but I wasn't paid as such. It is a fair statement that the range of these activities do not accord with FLSA guidelines, but they are regarded by my facilities director as other duties as assigned. If the compensation studies had done their job, then many of us would not be demoralized and would not be leaving. But instead, Lone Star College only used the budget, it seems, to determine right sizing. Lone Star College does not even know why employees leave, since exit interviews are probably not being done. So this is my exit monologue. If my job had been right-sized, then my pension would have been adjusted significantly upward, since the minimum estimated salary adjustment with a right-sized title would have increased my monthly pension by $243 per month. I wanted to work another year to make full retirement in Social Security, but I cannot stand to work in this culture of understaffing, which results in excessive workload justified by improperly using the phrase other duties as assigned. If the Lone Star College Board wants employee morale to improve, the Lone Star College administrators need to pay as much attention to their employee success as they do student success. There are many fine people in support staff, and I'm thinking of custodial and maintenance in particular. I'm sorry, I lost my place. There are many fine people in support staff that can use managerial attention in helping them develop career paths. I also recommend that the next phase of the support staff position classification study be one where all positions are evaluated as promised and positions are right-sized accordingly. Otherwise, there may be another exodus of talent and institutional knowledge, and I have a lot of institutional knowledge from Lone Star College, which will make way for cheaper employees who will also be told, thanks for all you do, only to learn the hollow meaning of those words. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dr. John Bergduff, and I am speaking on behalf of the American Federation of Teachers. We would like to take this opportunity to welcome new trustees Mike Stoma, Ernestine Pierce, and Mike Sullivan. You, together with the continuing members of the board, have taken on an awesome responsibility. According to the Lone Star College Policy Manual, it is the trustees who are ultimately accountable to the community we serve for the college's performance and welfare. Our taxpayers count on you to ensure that their investments are handled legally, ethically, and responsibly. Our students count on you to assure that they are receiving an education they can afford and that will ultimately help them build a better life for themselves and their loved ones. Our employees count on you to oversee an administrative structure that values our experience and credentials, welcomes our participation in the governance of the college, and supports us in our work so that we can most effectively teach and provide services to the students we love. It is indeed an awesome responsibility you have taken, but one which we hope will bring you a great deal of satisfaction, especially as you see the positive impact Lone Star College makes in the lives of nearly 100,000 students. We in the American Federation of Teachers would also like to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves. We are the employee union here at the college. Because the state of Texas does not grant collective bargaining rights to public employees, membership in the AFT is completely voluntary. Over our nearly 40-year history, we have grown to be a large and robust organization with approximately 500 members. The AFT welcomes staff, faculty, and entry-level administrators, both full-time and part-time employees, representing all disciplines, all departments, and all campuses. All of us have joined the organization because of our profound concern for Lone Star College, and you will find that we work hard to help our college reach its full potential. We advocate for people and for policy. For people, we assist our members when they face difficulties at work. We provide advice and resources, and when needed, representation to assure that all employees have access to due process. For policy, we strive to work with the administration and the board on an array of issues that benefit the entire college community. For example, in this last year, we promoted policy changes to protect the rights of transgender students and employees, and we worked against restrictions that would have limited employees' rights of appeal. We are currently working to advance significant policy changes in the area of campus safety, adjunct faculty pay and rights, collaborative governance, and grievances and appeals. You will hear more about these initiatives in coming months. When faculty and staff are included in the decision-making processes of the college, and when they feel safe, supported, and valued, the ultimate beneficiaries are our students. This is what AFT strives for. Our president, Alan Hall, other members of our union, and I will be here at all board meetings. We will use the avenue of citizen participation to speak to the board whenever we have something to contribute on behalf of employees. Tonight, we would especially like to take this opportunity to invite all of the members of the board to come out and visit our campuses. The transformative work that faculty and staff do for our students happens out there, and you have to get outside these walls to see it. In the past, the AFT has sponsored open forums on the campuses to provide opportunities for board members to meet the employees you represent. We plan to sponsor more forums in the future, and we would like to invite you to come. We believe you will be inspired by the passion of our faculty and staff, and that this will give you the best understanding of Lone Star College. Thank you, board members, both new and returning, for taking on the solemn task of overseeing this great undertaking we call Lone Star College. AFT welcomes you and wishes you all the best. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, at this point in time, we will consider the consent agenda. And on the consent agenda, we have items 1 through 24. Item 3 will be considered separately. Item 6 has been pulled. Board members, are there any other consent agenda items that you would like to have considered separately?
Number 20, please.
20, okay. Hold on just a second. 20.
Number 9.
Okay. 9, okay. Okay, so any others? Let me repeat that to make sure that my records are accurate. The items that will be considered separately are item 3, item 9, and item 20. And item 6 has been pulled completely. So at this point, I'd like to have a motion to adopt items 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 through 19, 21 to 24. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt those items. All those in favor vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passed. Okay. Item number 3. Jennifer, are you ready? Item number 3 is coming up.
Wait.
We're ready.
To do that. Good evening.
Good
Yes.
evening.
I am presenting here the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, a summary of results fiscal year ending August 31st, 2018. Prior to this, we did meet with the Audit Committee and our auditors. I do want to say thank you to Weaver. Weaver is here. We have James Fitz, Brittany Drew, and Greg Peterson, who conducted the external audit for us. But then, of course, for the financial report itself, and let me mention at all of your seats as well, you should have a couple of books for me. One is the adopted budget. The board adopted that this past August, and so that is the final book just for your copy. But also you would have the draft comprehensive annual financial report, and that is the report that I am presenting here right now. And a lot of work goes, so huge thank you to the whole staff that works on this report, because at the end of the day, it is Lone Star College employees that puts this together. The external auditors definitely do a lot of work to come in and review our work, but it is Lone Star College that puts this report together. But to give you an overview of what this report says, and then I'm sure you can all go home and read it tonight.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a quiz?
I can do a quiz. So what I'm going to go through real quick is first just highlight for you what the 3 key reports are in this book. In case you don't read the whole thing, I can point you to a couple of key pages. But I'm specifically going to go over our results for fiscal year 2018 of net position, net income, our cash position, and then I'm just going to note a few things from the balance sheet. So those are 3 key reports. I have here what the reports are called in the book, and then I also have a sort of commonly known as name for the report. We have the statements of net position. This is more commonly referred to as the balance sheet. We also have what's typically referred to as the income statement. In the book, you see it called statements of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. So those are on page 31 and 33. And then on pages 36 and 37 is statements of net cash flows. I did not have a commonly known as name for that one. It's our cash flows. I'm also have an illustration here just to try to show how these 3 reports fit together. The balance sheet
is a snapshot in time of our assets and liabilities, but it is just that, like a single day, August 31st, 2017 as the beginning point measurement, and then August 31st, 2018. But as a snapshot in time, it's only, the numbers are only good for that single day. Any other day of the year, those numbers don't apply. But then it's the income statement and the cash flow statement that reports activity over a period of time, from September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018. So you can connect these reports. If you take the net position on August 31st, 2017 and add the net income results from the income statement, you will get the ending net position on August 31st, 2018. And the same happens if you do that for cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet through the cash flow statement. So that's just sort of a picture of how these three reports fit together, and I'm going to just go through some of the results. So August 31st, 2017 balance sheet. We do have what's called some prior period adjustments that are being made in this report. So that is changes occurring to the 2017 numbers. There is an appendix to this presentation that I can share that goes through what those are. But basically, when I gave this presentation last year, I told the board that our net position was $234 million. There is a list of restatements. Some are positive, some are negative. The net effect is a positive change to net position of $259 million. So we actually started this year at $259 million net position. Our income statement has good news and bad news. The good news, and I'm going to end the slide with the good news too. The good news is that we did have net income of $29 million, positive $29 million net income. The bad news, part of our prior period adjustment is us, along with all other municipalities, governments, had to implement what's called GASB 75. So what this is, a similar thing happened in 2015 with GASB 68 when everyone had to recognize pension liabilities. This is the same idea. Right now it's recognizing OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits. So these are the liabilities of our participation in TRS in the case of the pension and ERS in case of OPEB. So the pension piece was for the first time reflected on our balance sheets back in 2015. 2018 is now the first time that we have to recognize the OPEB liability. So this is $96 million addition to our liabilities. So that does mean that our ending net position is lower at $192 million. This is a bit of an apples to oranges comparison, as the August 31st, 2017 number at $259 million does not include this liability. So just quickly going through the income statement itself, this is where I'm showing the 2017 restated figures. When I was here last year, I reported that we had a positive net income of $9.5 million. With the restatements, it was actually $15.1 million. But then even better news is for 2018, and this is where I do want to highlight the good news, despite the GASB 75 reflection on the balance sheet, is 2018 we did have net income of $28.7 million. And to go through our cash flows, we started the year at $256 million. I do want to note, typically when I give the monthly financial report, when I'm talking about cash there, it's specifically the cash reserves. This year is all cash. So our operating cash, the cash reserves, but also all of the funds that we have from bond proceeds that are paying for the capital projects. So this is all of our cash on hand. We started the year at $256 million. This was relatively high because in 2017 we had issued bonds. So we had received $150 million of cash from that issuance. So we started the year at a relatively high level of cash. And of course, we've been using those bond proceeds to do our capital projects, so we've been spending it. So we do have negative net cash flows in 2018 of $68 million. So we ended August 31st, 2018 cash and cash equivalents of $188 million. And this is a summary of the cash flow statement. This is where you can predominantly see that the difference between 2017 and 2018 is in those financing activities. Net cash used by financing activities you see in 2017 is a positive $107 million, but now here in 2018 it's a negative $148 million. And the difference there again is in 2017, issuing the bonds to pay for the capital projects and receiving that cash in for that, and then in 2018, us spending that down on the capital projects. So that's where you can see the net cash flows in 2018 of negative $68 million. Then on our balance sheet, again, this is where I'm showing 2017 ending net position of $259 million and ending 2018 at $192 million. And again, I mean, this is going to be a significant impact to not just our balance sheet, but a lot of institutions' balance sheets is this GASB 75, that $96 million impact. So a few things to note here, if I haven't already said it a few times, is the OPEB liability of $96 million hitting the balance sheet, but then a couple other things happening as well. This is part of the positive effect of the restatements is bonds payable. And what we had booked for the bond premium amortization, we had previously been doing this calculation manually, and in the past year we actually implemented one of the PeopleSoft modules to do this calculation for us, and it did a better job and found a more accurate number for us that did result in a positive change to what we were reflecting on the books. So that was a positive change to the balance sheet. And then finally, we did also recognize the Department of Education liability. We actually recognized this in the 2017 books, so this is also part of the restatements, and that's $14 million increase in liabilities for that Department of Education review. And with that, any questions?
Any questions, board members? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved and second that we adopt item 3. Since no one has a question, we might as well go ahead and vote. All those in favor vote by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to item 9, and that was pulled by Ms.
Yeah.
Okay, by Ken, okay. I forgot, I'm sorry, Ken. I said I forgot who pulled that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to
Yeah, no problem.
make sure that everybody understands that's related to the DOE.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no problem at all. That's the purpose of this being, if you have a question, you can pull it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's explained that this money is going, for this audit is going toward handling that problem and possibly reducing the debt.
So
right?
trustee
Yeah,
Lloyd,
Jennifer's going to explain.
the CFO is overseeing that.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about that for a minute, go ahead.
Yeah, so financial aid consultant services would like them to come in to assist us. The most immediate task being there's 6,160 unduplicated student records that is included in the $14 million Department of Education liability. We have already begun reviewing them and been finding documentation supporting that they were in fact eligible. So I think it's important that we review all 6,160 records. So far we've reviewed 167 of them as a sample that we pulled out, but want to review the balance in a very quick time frame while still continuing to process financial aid for the spring semester. So would really like to have financial aid consultant services coming on site to assist us through this. And additionally, making sure that we're also identifying by record the specific causes of either whether if the student isn't eligible, what happened, or if we do find that they were eligible, why were they marked ineligible to begin with, just to make sure that we have specific reasons that we can decide have they definitively have been addressed or go address.
Go, okay, go, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
You done?
done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt item 9.
So moved.
Second, please. Been moved and properly second that we adopt item 9. If there's no other unreadiness, all those in favor vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. Motion passes. And the next item is item 20.
Thank you. Do you want to call for motion and second before I?
Yeah, I guess I should. Yeah, let's, before we start and follow Robert's Rules of Order, I need a motion on item 20.
moved.
So need a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're now ready for unreadiness.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Go ahead.
Jennifer, you're listed as the resource person on item 20. And I would just, I can hear the echo, so I thought it was picking me up. Could you please remind me what the Fallbrook community is? That's what this is about. It's about us paying $1 million a year to lease space to have a facility in the Fallbrook community.
Yeah, so this is to get another location in that area. The lease that's being worked out is the church would build to suit the building for us, about 50,000 square feet, and we would then operate it. We would operate much like we do a center. So the difference being that this agreement with the church would have them build to suit on our behalf and then leasing it to us. And that's what the $1 million is that lease expense.
I'm trying to understand what the geographic parameters are of Fallbrook community.
Let me answer this.
Is
It's
it a
okay.
geographic location?
That's my fault, because I thought you had all the background over this. But so Fallbrook is the area, the general area is off 1960 and Walters. It's a large community there. So we were approached by Fallbrook Church, who we actually we offered classes over there when I was the president. So we offered ESL and GED and some college level classes. They approached us about a year ago, and Trustee Lloyd and I think Art and Miriam and Dr. Smith were all part of the discussions we were having. And what they offered to do was to build us a center over there, and that is the area around there is predominantly African American. And I would just say it's middle class?
No.
Middle and low class, I mean, middle
think it
and
has
low,
both.
lower income areas over there.
I think what's important here is that if you go look at the statistics and you look at that boundary and those zip codes, it's the most depressed area. And then you'd have to take into consideration, if you take 45 as the eastern boundary, FM 1960 as the northern, and if you take, say, Rankin Road as the southern, and then if you take Walters, that is a population of 34,000 people in 2 square miles. Those are remnants from Katrina, and you got third and fourth generations of people that are struggling. This church is probably one of the most successful that I've seen as far as a congregation working with a school. They're actually going into the multi-housing communities and engaging one-on-one with these kids. And they know that it's a desperate situation, and that's why they said, hey, we'll take responsibility.
So we have made this part of Houston North, and Dr. Wright, I left him off of the discussions. He's been part of the discussions also. So what they offered to do was build a facility for us. We designed it. Dr. Wright and I several people have been working on that, and they offered to lease it to us, a long-term lease, which we think it serves the community that needs serving. I just think it's one of the underserved areas. It's kind of parked in between North Harris and University Park. So it's not, we made it really clear, it's on church property. We're calling it Fallbrook Center. So it's not, it's technically on their property, but we asked them to, I've got the church part of it, but it's just Fallbrook Center. And they're just leasing it to us. We're going to run it, so.
Thank you.
You know, another thing, Dr. Head, this may not be important, but I was approached by 3 board members from Spring ISD, and they were highly, highly enthused that that Lone Star is going to be located within Spring ISD. So apparently Spring ISD does not have a Lone Star facility within its boundaries. And so they're enthused about that.
I fully support making sure that we're getting our services out to the communities that need them, and especially seriously economically depressed and stressed areas. My concern was this very close nexus with a religious organization. This is the first time we've done this.
Then that's my fault, because I thought you knew about this, because we had several different board members working on it, so working with us. So. Got it.
Okay. Any other? Yes. Sure. Go ahead, Mike.
Let me ask both you and the Chancellor, if we don't do this, who would ever step in and do it?
If we, say that again?
If we do not do this,
who's going to do it?
who would step in and do it? In other words,
Nobody.
it's in
That's
our
the
service
problem.
area.
Yeah.
That's
We're
correct.
responsible to the ISDs in that area, whether or not it's a church or any type of other property owner.
Right.
is very
I mean,
low on the
we
priorities.
have worked closely with them since I was the president, so it's been 7 or 8, 9 years. We've worked very closely with Fallbrook. We share the same, they are, Ken, I guess I need your help here. They're like a non-denominational. It is really a very positive, upbeat. So I've actually been over there talking, several of us have, and to talk with them at church services. So what they teach are the same values to me that we have about, as you're growing up, staying off drugs and alcohol, obeying the law, getting an education, being a good person, how to act. It's all the same values that we have. So we've had a close working relationship with them. It's I know you're not questioning a piece of it. I hear what you're saying.
So we're assuming that this will be less costly to us than if we just purchased property in that area and built a center.
Yes.
Which is what we've done
Yes,
everywhere else.
exactly.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at.
I think the point that they were making is that they were better at reaching these kids because when they come to the church, it's a different story. These kids are not, and if I'm not mistaken, if you go back, you and I had this discussion at the M3 Center when we went there and had all these kids from Katrina there, and you talked about them suffering from PTSD, et cetera. Like, this is grandmothers raising grandkids.
Sure.
And they realized that once they went in there and started working with these kids, they got their attention. Yeah. That's the most important thing. And then if you stop and think about it, there's 5,000 in that community, and I think in 2018, they only had 20% of them that were college ready. So we either do something now or deal with it later. Yeah. You know, I'd rather see them go in and work with these kids and get them educated than having the payphone be, you know.
I would agree.
My concern is mixing our public function as an arm of the government with religion, because they could continue to do those very valuable activities regardless of who built the facility. So are we thinking then that a 15-year, we're not going to need it in 15 years?
They made the comment that they realized that people weren't comfortable with that. And the way they're structured is that you won't even be able to see the church. So it's.
Well, they were building that to, I mean, there's the business part of this, so I don't envision us leaving there anytime soon. I think as that community grows over there, I just think we need to be there. I know you share, I'm not arguing with you about that piece of it. I know you share my views about this.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
I'm not arguing with the need.
Right.
Or that we're the best to fill that need. I'm expressing concern over the method by which we're doing that. That's all.
Yeah.
And Trustee Good, my daughter lives in that area, and what you say, sir, is true. And it's a cultural thing. It's really a cultural thing. If you're going to help these folks, you've got to get in with the culture, and this church, from what I understand, it has that ability. And I understand the church and state thing, but you know, where's the greater good in this case? It's really the success of this is going to rely on the success of Houston North, and I guess Dr. Wright, where he can execute to get the people in. That's what's going to tell the tale of this, if it's going to be successful or not.
Okay, any other questions? If not, all those in favor vote by the usual sign.
Aye.
Any opposed by the same sign? Ayes have it. Okay,
I'll just stay right here.
stay. You're on.
Yeah.
The clock is starting now.
Okay, so we're on the financial reports.
Yes.
So yes, you have presented to you the monthly financial statements for the month ending October 31st, 2018. And I will perhaps go through, I don't need the presentation any longer. So just going through the report. So the first page shows a couple of charts. The first being actual revenues as a percent of the adopted budget. And so we're doing it for through that month. So you can see currently our spending from September 1st to October 31st, or the revenues, I'm sorry. The revenues generated so far is $79 million is what we brought in so far, and that is 20.6% of the adopted budget. So, I mean, certainly over the years as our budget grows, the dollar amount will grow, but that's why we want to put on here is a key metric of what percentage of the budget that represents. So you can see that we are about in line with where we've been over the past few years for revenues brought in at this point in the year. The chart for actual expenditures works much the same way. So far we have spent $55 million, and this is 14.9% of the budget. And again, you can look at the previous percentages to see where we were at historically. I would say just always, and for every single month that I do this, consider last year as an anomaly because, of course, we had Hurricane Harvey, so our expenditures in the first couple of months of the year were much lower than typical. Going to the following page, the statement of revenues and expenditures. You can see here, same as last month, really our only forecasted variance involves the tuition and fees. The budget that this board adopted in August had projected flat growth in credit hours and headcount, and that growth did come in for the fall semester slightly negative. So we forecasted that impact just from the fall semester at the almost 1.2 million. But then we also turned around like we did in fiscal year 17 when we experienced this in the spring semester, made cuts to the budget across all areas, shared. So you can see the offsetting 1.2 million reduction in expenditures. That way we can remain on budget. And then towards the bottom of the page is where we forecast to end the year in our long-term cash reserves. So you can see we started the year at 66.7 million. I had done a report last month that showed we ended last year significantly higher than we had forecasted. So we do have a use of those reserves in this budget year. But the adopted budget was to end this year at 17%. So we are still forecasting to end this year above that at 17.4%. And it is early in the year, but where the majority of that comes from, if all of that comes from, is ending the prior year at a higher cash reserve than we had forecasted when we built the budget. So going to page 3 is the balance sheet. One item I might note here that is also a change to this report than previous is we actually expanded the fund balances section. So you can see our total fund balance. I know we typically talk about cash reserve, but if you are also interested in looking at fund balance, our $95 million fund balance, you can actually see all the different areas that comprises that fund balance. And you can also see the long-term reserves. So I know that's showing at 48.7 million. The key that I want to point there is that's what our reserves are as of October 31st, 2018. The prior page, where I'm forecasting to end the year as 64 million, is what I'm forecasting us to be at August 31st, 2019. Right, so throughout the year, that will fluctuate as we do our operations, especially right now. We have expenditures and taxes don't start to get collected till really pick up strongly in January. So those balances at the first beginning of the fiscal year do tend to decline initially before they start increasing again. Page 4 is the balance sheet for Fund 35, which is our Harvey Recovery Fund. It's operated like a grant fund, so it was positive initially when we had insurance proceeds in, but we have definitely spent past that, so it has a negative fund balance of 10.5 million in that fund. And continuing on from there.
Jennifer, tell the new board members what Fund 35, I know you just said it, but we set up a special fund for hurricane, just so we could keep up with that, keep it separately. So it's called Fund 35.
So all of our expenses related to the hurricane are all put into this fund. And as a grant fund, we are able to operate it at a negative fund balance. But that way we can have everything in just one place to track it. And then, so that's why, so I've been including these for Fund 35 in the monthly reports, the first one being the balance sheet, and then the next page, page 5, is the income statement. And that's where you can see, and this is from inception through October 31st, 2018. So here you can actually look at what expenditures have occurred. So on page 5, if you look at total expenditures, and then all the way to the right side of the page, we have, as of October 31st, spent 20.6 million in our Harvey recovery. Let's see here. And then the following page, again, this one just shows our short-term cash reserves and our long-term cash reserves as of October 31st. And this is where, again, you can see that 48.7 million that showed up on the balance sheet that I showed previously. And that concludes my financial report.
Next time, can you put this on somehow get it up on the screen so that we can see it here? Because we've got different computers up here.
I can do that. Yes, I can do that.
I know you gave us the same computers, but we're using our own, some of us. The chair and me are using our own, so
Well, I can't use
the pages are not, yeah.
Jennifer, update from FEMA?
Yes, I brought an update from FEMA. So the majority we have gotten better at breaking out just in sort of 4 different phases of where all this is with FEMA. I should start with, we still haven't gotten a penny.
Why am I not surprised?
We still have a majority of it in what's called a pending EEI completion status, which means essential elements of information. So this is where they are continuing to ask us questions about what we have submitted. I think maybe each month I'll bring an example question. My example question that we received that I'll share with you this month is, after Hurricane Harvey, we did burn some of the debris, and FEMA asked us what we did with the ashes.
I think perhaps FEMA hopes that if they keep asking questions, eventually we'll give up.
We are meeting with FEMA and TDM on a weekly basis, so we're not.
Good.
Any other questions?
Yeah. What did you tell
I was not actually in this meeting when that was asked.
Okay.
Which might have been a good thing.
Find out. I'd like to know.
When they first told me about the question, I didn't understand the first part, that we had burned debris. So when I just heard they asked us where we put the ashes, I was very confused.
Yeah.
How about we deliver it to their office?
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't have a bill. You don't have a bill in the ground report.
It's
And then
included
the report.
in your
Okay,
report. If there's any
good.
questions, you
All
can
right.
just ask.
Board members, you can now make any suggestions that you would like for future agenda items.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a suggestion that we re-examine the reorganization of Board Trustees policy or procedure.
What is that again?
I
got it. I'm being.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to look at that to be a more democratic process. I think it's a simple change in my opinion, but we can discuss it later.
Yes. Yes. Huh?
So in order to carry out Trustee Stoma's request, we are going to need a new PRC, a policy review committee. So I guess we need some direction from you now about who the members would be of that committee so that we can process those policy recommendations over the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, we'll have a recommendation for all committees next meeting.
In February?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to be very clear and transparent about what that means. So if that happens in February, it means that we cannot bring this board agenda item until at least March.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it doesn't come in effect for 2 more years, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, depends, the change in the time depends on
Right.
what we come back with.
right.
So,
So March is no big deal. But it needs to be changed.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other agenda items, future agenda items? If not, the meeting's adjourned.